The first dawnlight crept into the forge, casting a warm glow over the tools and half-finished projects. Tomas Embergrove stirred, his eyes adjusting to the growing light. He stretched, the weariness of a long night's work still evident in his movements. The forge, his home and workplace, was quiet, the only sound the gentle crackle of the dying embers. As he began his daily routine, a sense of normalcy settled over him, a feeling that this would be just another day. The air was thick with the smell of hot metal and sweat, and the sound of birds chirping outside added to the sense of tranquility. The sunlight streaming through the windows highlighted the dust particles dancing in the air, and the smell of fresh earth wafted in from the nearby fields. But amidst the familiar sights and sounds, something caught his eye. A book, lying open on the workbench, its pages fluttering gently in the morning breeze. Tomas' curiosity was piqued, and he felt a slight hesitation in his step as he approached the workbench. The book seemed out of place, yet it also seemed to belong, as if it had been waiting for him all along. The silence of the forge was almost palpable, and Tomas felt a sense of anticipation building inside him. He paused, his hand reaching out to touch the book, and then hesitated, his fingers hovering above the cover. Tomas' curiosity got the better of him, and he picked up the book, its cover bearing his name in fresh ink. As he delved into its pages, he found the words weaving a rhythm that seemed to match the cadence of his own work, the clang of hammer on anvil, the hiss of hot metal cooling in the water. The book became his constant companion, its words echoing in his mind long after he finished reading for the day. The forge, too, seemed to be responding to the book's presence, the tools and equipment arranged with a precision that Tomas couldn't explain. The light in the forge seemed to be growing dimmer, as if the shadows themselves were moving to accommodate the book. The sound of the wind outside changed, the trees creaking and swaying in a rhythm that seemed to match the beat of the book. Tomas felt a sense of wonder, mixed with a growing sense of unease, as he realized that the book was changing him, changing the forge, and changing the world around him. The words on the page seemed to be shifting, rearranging themselves in a pattern that only Tomas could see. He felt a sense of connection to the book, a sense of belonging that he couldn't explain. The air in the forge seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, and the shadows deepened, as if they were trying to listen in on Tomas' thoughts. Tools began to move on their own, the sound of metal scraping against metal echoing through the forge. Doors creaked open and shut, the air growing cold with an unseen presence. Tomas felt a creeping sense of unease, as if he was being watched by unseen eyes. The book's words rearranged themselves on the page, revealing new meanings and hints of a dark design. The forge seemed to be shifting, its spaces growing tighter, the shadows deepening into abyssal voids. The wind outside howled, the trees creaking and swaying in a frenzy of movement. Tomas' sense of reality began to fray, the world narrowing to a single horrifying truth: he was not alone, and the presence was closing in. The darkness seemed to be coalescing, taking shape in the form of a presence that watched and waited. The book's pages seemed to be turning on their own, the words crawling across the page like living things. Tomas felt a sense of desperation, a sense of being trapped in a world that was rapidly unraveling. The forge was changing, the tools and equipment twisting into grotesque parodies of their former selves. The presence was growing stronger, its power coursing through the forge like a dark, malevolent force. The air was heavy with the smell of ozone and burning metal, and the sound of the wind outside seemed to be growing louder, as if it was trying to drown out the sound of Tomas' own heartbeat. The shadows seemed to be moving of their own accord, twisting and writhing like living things. Tomas' mind was reeling, his thoughts spinning out of control as he tried to comprehend the horror that was unfolding around him. The forge performed its own work, the rhythm of hammer and anvil matching the beat of the book's words. Tomas slumped over the anvil, his hammer still clutched in his hand, was a testament to the forge's terrible efficiency. The air was heavy with the smell of hot metal and sweat, the only sound the steady clang of the hammer. The book, its pages blank and warm to the touch, lay open on the workbench, its cover empty. Tomas' name faded into nothingness. The forge was silent, its work done, but the darkness lingered, a presence that would not be still. The wind outside had died, the trees standing like skeletal sentinels, their branches creaking in the silence. The forge was cold, the embers dead, the tool silent. The only sound was the soft creaking of the old wooden beams, a sound that seemed to echo through the empty spaces like a mournful sigh. Riva Embergrove stood at the threshold, her eyes adjusting to the darkness. She saw the book, its cover blank, its pages whispering secrets to the wind. Her hand reached out, hesitated, and then touched the cover. The silence was oppressive, the only sound the soft creaking of the old wooden beams. Riva's thoughts were a jumble of curiosity and fear, her mind reaching out to grasp the secrets that the book held. The air was thick with the smell of decay and neglect, the shadows deepening into abyssal voids. Riva's heart pounded, her breath catching in her throat as she felt the weight of the book's secrets bearing down upon her.